You notice it at 12:03 a.m., the exact minute the hallway lights deepen from honey to the color of old bruises. Your door, 5A, now reads 511. 12 minutes later, it reads 510. You don't blink. You don't breathe. You hold the grocery bag so tightly that the milk whispers against its plastic. Across the hall, someone's peephole darkens, then brightens, as if an eyelid is testing whether to trust what it sees. When you moved into the 5th floor of the Lorimore, the super said it was old but quiet, the kind of quiet that feels like manners, not neglect. You liked that. The numbers are original brass, he boasted, dragging a finger over your 5A like blessing a saint's name. Now the brass looks wet, like the digits were freshly pulled from a mouth. You try the handle, it turns. The apartment is yours, the thrift store desk, the jar of dull pennies, the fig plant that refuses to die. Nothing has moved, except the number outside. You snap a photo, then another at 12:17, 509, and a third at 12:26, 508. Your phone rolls the images into a little flicker book, the door counting down. On the floor mat is an envelope with your name printed in a thin, patient hand, Alina. No address, no stamp. Inside is a key on a cloth tag that reads only, "When it reaches you, open." You don't sleep, you observe. At 1:04, a far door knocks 3 times and is answered by silence that drips like a faucet. At 2:11, the elevator hums but never arrives. At 3:33, a woman coughs the way an engine tries to start in winter. Somewhere, a whisper slips under your door. Floor 0. By 4:02, the number stalls at 503. Dawn pinks the windows, the brass cools, and the building becomes polite again. You tell yourself it was the hour, the hunger, the angle of the hall light. You delete the photos, you toss the key into the pennies jar. You tell yourself that names can't be destinations. But when you leave for work, the mat holds another envelope. This one is empty. On the inside flap, in pencil, is a single word smudged by a thumb. Soon. The next night you set an alarm for 11:58 and sit cross-legged facing the door like it's a sick animal. The hall light dims on schedule. The brass exhales. 502. You text Dima. Weird building stuff. Numbers shifting. Humor me? He voice calls at once, his sound choppy, like the signal is being chewed. Put me on speaker, he says. Let me listen. The elevator hums again but doesn't open. The floor indicator above it flickers 4, 3, 2, 1, and then nothing. A cold laughs down the hall. Dima hears it too. Is there a basement? He asks. Service stairs? You remember the metal door you assumed was a utility closet. No admittance in letters that feel older than warning. 501, brass sweating. The key in your penny jar clicks against glass, though no one touches it. You open the door to the hall. It smells like rain that can't find the ground. From 5C, a voice, familiar but aged, murmurs, "Don't open if it says your name." You lean closer. The peephole darkens, then lightens, but no chain rattles, no bolt slides. Who are you, you ask? The answer arrives from farther away than the door should allow. The person who didn't listen. The elevator dings, soft, embarrassed. The doors remain closed. On the indicator, a new symbol blinks where numbers should be. A narrow circle, like an eye that won't dilate. That's not standard, Dima says. His voice wobbles. Alina, I'm recording this. At 12:44, a single knock rolls down the corridor, as if it traveled inside the walls like a train in a vein. It stops at your door and breathes. 500. You hold the cloth tag key. It's warm, like a pocketed coin. The tag's letters have darkened with oil. When it reaches you, open. Open what? You whisper. The key feels incorrectly shaped for your lock, like it belongs to a door that isn't here yet. Dima, hushed. Okay, if the elevator won't come, find the service stairs. If anything feels wrong, you bail. You hear me? You tug the no admittance door. It resists, then shudders, then relents with a breath that smells like plaster and a forgotten soup. Inside, the stairs spiral down, walls half-painted like the building couldn't finish choosing a color. Somewhere below, a bell rings the way a throat clears before speaking. You hold your phone's light. You step down. Behind you, the brass outside your home finally blinks and settles into a word that is not a number at all, Alina. The first landing is marked with a painted 5, but it's crossed out by a fingernail. The second landing is blank, but your phone's compass wobbles as if something corrected it. The third landing bears chalky handwriting, 0. It should be a joke. It isn't. The air here is soft and a little damp, like someone's breath curled through fabric for years. Dima's audio glitches, replays its own sentence. If anything feels wrong, you bail. Backward. Say that again. You tell him. The replay answers in your father's voice. Liabu sleef gnitina fi. Your father has been dead for 3 years. Your hand shakes the light into a nervous butterfly. There's a door at the 0 landing. It's the kind factories use. Gray, practical, self-conscious. Your wrong key fits its wrong lock with the precision of childhood shame. The bolt slides. Something inside steps out of your reflection. Not a figure, an absence held in the shape where a concierge would stand. It wears a suit of creases, like someone ironed darkness in a hurry. Welcome to floor 0, says a voice that could be yours if you bid it. The absence gestures to a corridor, lined with doors that bear names instead of numbers. Mrs. Soto Jeff L. Pereira, the girl WHO, lied once the boy WHO bit the chalk. Some names you don't know. Some you have tried, like phones gone out of service. Don't go in, Dima whispers from your pocket. You feel him as heat, not sound. Why me, you ask. The concierge shape inclines its head. Because you left your window open, it says, and the building learned your draft. It slides a ledger forward, or the idea of a ledger. The pages are thin as onion skin, written in the angle of people apologizing. There's a space waiting, Alina. Your key sighs in your hand, relieved to be where it always belonged. One door, the concierge says, open one, and the others will learn your handwriting. It motions toward the room where you didn't answer. The brass letters hold a small patience that makes your stomach cold. You turn the knob. The room smells like rain on old paper. Your phone buzzes with Dima's call. You silence it. It buzzes again with Mom, missed call, 2017. You remember that night? You were at the bus stop, and you let it ring out because your hands were full of groceries, and after all, you'd call back. You didn't. Payment is simple, says the concierge, the way a receipt talks. Whatever you retrieve pays with its echo. You step inside and see a phone on a table, mid-ring, forever. Your name blinks on its screen. You reach. Somewhere far above, the elevator arrives to a floor no one can step onto. Its doors open on a whisper that tastes like coins. You do not touch the ringing phone. You touch the table it sits on, the lacquer scarred by keys tossed in storms. The ring dims, as if embarrassed. On the wall is a calendar stuck to April, a week where nothing terrible should have happened. Your throat tightens the way a window sticks. If I answer, you say, "What do I lose?" The concierge considers or mimics consideration. Not lose, it says, gentle as lint. Trade, the room wants a voice. Give it one you're done using. It gestures toward the ledger. A blank line quivers like a stray hair. A small voice, it adds, something you can spare. You think of your brother's laugh in the summer you shaved your head and said it was for art, but really it was for shedding. You think of Dima's 3 a.m. jokes, the ones shaped like lifelines. You think of your own voice reading receipts aloud in empty kitchens. No, you say, not those. The concierge's head tilts. Its suit of creases rustles. Then choose a syllable you never liked, it suggests, the way you say your own name. The way your spine speaks when shame leans. In your pocket, Dima insists, "Get out, I'm coming over, keep me on." His voice steadies you into a bridge, the kind that knows it must bear weight it didn't ask for. You step back from the phone. The ring resumes, patient. A heart in a museum. Outside, the corridor shifts. Names reorder themselves the way memories do when they spot you looking. The room you kept locked for July drifts next to the room that hates mirrors. A new plaque slides into place with a sound like a pen finishing a story, the room that teaches you to write yourself as an address. You try a door with a stranger's name. It refuses because it loves its stranger. You try a door called The Last OK Day. It opens an inch and shows you a morning of toast and socks, and your eyes fill so quickly you almost slip on them. The concierge's non-face folds more neatly. Careful, it says. You're making a mess. I won't trade, you tell it. I won't give you a voice, a syllable, a laugh. Then leave, it replies kindly, as if granting a refund. Take the stairs up, but remember, your floor's number has reached you. Brass keeps its promises. You climb, heart-drumming bad arithmetic. At your landing, the hallway swims like heat over asphalt. Your door reads Alina with the calm of authority. The lock yields to your key like a handshake after a burial. Inside, your mirror doesn't show your face. It shows a peephole looking out from a door at the end of a different hallway. You lean forward. Something on the other side leans back. The two of you breathe in time until your window, which you are certain you closed, sighs open by a practiced inch. The building inhales your name and tries the taste of you. You tape over the peephole in your mirror. You wedge the window shut with a jar of pennies, the key sunk to the bottom like a coin in a well that answers. You leave the TV on a weather channel that promises storms you'll never meet. Dima texts, outside, buzz me in. You check the hall. The elevator indicator is a long-held breath. The service door is ajar, as though the building forgot which secrets are meant to be public. Your door still reads Alina, but now there's a thin underline, as if you've been promoted to title, not tenant. Dima steps in with the jitter of someone who ran up 5 flights on a dare. He is solid, ordinary, a lighthouse disguised as a person. Show me, he says, and you do. The photos of numbers counting down, the empty envelope labeled soon, the ledger's slick memory of floor 0. He listens the way a room would listen if it loved you. Okay, he says finally, you don't feed it, you don't open it when it writes your name, you rewrite it. He pulls a dry erase marker from his backpack, because of course he carries one. Dima believes in the power of labeling. He uncaps it like a quiet sword and prints over the brass, 5A. The ink looks absurd against metal, like lipstick on a gate. The hallway light flickers, offended. The elevator dings, doors open onto a floor without walls. Wind moves in, wearing dust like formal wear. The marker squeals a little, and dies. Your name shows through, patient as bone, Alina. The underline thickens. Write bigger, you say, and your voice shakes with the small heroism of a person who stayed. You take the marker and fill the entire door with numbers. 5A, 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 5A. A graffiti of denial. For a moment, the brass hums, confused, the way a song stumbles when a new verse arrives too early. Then, quietly, the door writes back. The ink lifts, rearranges, condenses into a single, clean line. Unit Alina. You feel the rearrangement in your blood. Dima grabs your wrist. Don't read it, he says, too late. Your pulse echoes the syllables until they become an address. You are an address. The service door downstairs clicks. Footsteps climb, polite as functionaries. The concierge shape arrives, ledger tucked under its arm like a hymn book. Congratulations, it says. Refusal is a valid signature. I'm moving out. You tell it. It nods, delighted by this human superstition. We love departures, it says. That's how we keep rooms available. Dima steps between you and the ledger. She's not giving you anything. The concierge inclines toward him, tasting his name. Not today, it agrees. Today she keeps her syllables. Its head tips toward the hall, but others will hear the knocks. The building learns. It writing practices. You lock the door, your door. You insist on the pronoun like a boarder. The brass cools. The mirror shows your face again, but you're a little out of registration, like a print the pressed into line. You pack. You leave at noon, when light is rude and refuses to be haunted. Weeks later, in a different apartment with new paint and dumb, honest numbers, you hear a knock traveling inside the walls, learning your name as if it were a route. You put your ear to the plaster and whisper back a word you promised never to say aloud again. You say soon, and the building, delighted student, repeats it perfectly.